Good afternoon and welcome to More Meets the Eye. I'm your host Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about the vehicle mode for Transformers Studios series Gamerverse Ratchet. I've got him right here in his Cybertronian ambulance mode. I don't know what to really describe this thing as, but I'm going to do my best today on today's episode of More Than Meets the Eye. If you like what you see here, and you would like to help me raise awareness for the blind and the visually impaired through alternative means and methods, including to, but not limited to, describing the vehicle modes for Transformers, then please go below, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and comment. I absolutely love hearing from you, my viewers and my listeners. So please go below and speak to me, ask me questions, converse, do whatever you enjoy doing in the comments below. Hi, Kream. Cat hair in my mouth. Why did you do that? You had to headbutt me mid-sentence? Huh? Yeah. Well, Kream's here. My co-host, Kream the Cat, who has proceeded to immediately lay down and start his normal activities on my show of sleeping through the entire thing. Yes. Yeah. You are just a giant orange cat that enjoys sleeping, which is normal for orange cats. Okay. News updates before we get into the description here of Ratchet. We're going to be doing a video tomorrow on pumpkins. I'm going to make myself a jack-o'-lantern and record myself doing it and explain how a blind man makes a jack-o'-lantern. I think that will be fun, right? I'm pretty sure people enjoy it, and it's also, I think, going to be an evergreen content. So I'm going to put it in the spruce playlist because, YouTube wanted me to make evergreen content, so I created a playlist named after an evergreen. I mean, if you want evergreen content, you still got to be punny about it. You can't just do that seriously. You got to make a joke, and I make jokes all the time. I can't help myself. Humor is my way of life. I will always find the humor. So, without further ado, let's get into describing this Transformer. So, first off, I appreciate what they do with the weapons here. And it looks a little goofy, I bet. And he's got a big axe hanging out on top of his roof. But I really like the fact he's got a big axe hanging on his roof. I think that's kind of neat because these aren't robots in disguise on Cybertron. They're not disguising themselves. Maybe Soundwave disguises himself as streetlights and stuff, but the rest of the Transformers don't seem to participate in that. Their alternative modes are important for their jobs or just getting around. And in that case, they're not really trying to hide themselves. So having a giant axe on top of the vehicle just kind of works for Ratchet. I like it. I like the axe. I like the way the axe feels. I like the way the axe feels on top of the vehicle. It's in there, too, when you get it in there. It's really good. So I really appreciate this. I think it does work for War for Cybertron Gamerverse. It just seems right. So peeling it off, I'll explain how you put this axe on. So I think you can do it either way, but we'll try it real quick. We're going to turn it 180 degrees and try to put it into the spot it was just at. And wait, maybe? I don't think so. So let's try flipping it again and putting it in the spot. Okay, so getting your axe into the correct location is a little weird. But how you put the axe in place is there's this little dip, like a little valley in the middle of the back of your Ratchet. And the axe kind of clips in place, so it's easier to remove the handle first, and then we can come in here with the axe. We can feel with our fingertips, try and get you to be in the spot you're supposed to be at. I mean, it's supposed to be there. It is a little annoying that it takes so long to get this axe to appropriately fit, where a siege peg and a siege port would have made it easier to put this axe in place, and it does make me weird. It weirds me out that they just stopped, or it bothers me, I should say, that they stopped doing the siege ports all the time. When I thought the siege ports, though they looked a little goofy, were amazing connector points, and this thing is not wanting to connect again. I don't know how I did it the first time. You're supposed to put the bottom area of the axe, this lumpy zone, not the spiky part, but the lower part, before you attach the handle. It fits into this little space, and it snaps into place very well. And, you know, as we started the video off by me like moving the vehicle around with the axe in there, but it's not wanting to do it this time. And I don't know what's going on. Ah, nuts! And I took the gun off. Okay, we're done fiddling with the axe. I don't know why I can't put it back, but it does fit on there, and it does fit on there quite well when you can get it on there. And that would be one of the negatives I'd like to mention about this ratchet, is the fact that that axe is difficult to get attached. Now, where in the world did your gun go? So I can talk about that. It flung away somewhere. Ah, here it is. Okay. So, talking about the gun, though, that part's a little easier. There's these little bitty, microscopic little holes in the back area that I will never be able to find. And I had it all lined up so I could easily find it, and I knocked the gun off. And now I'm going to have to spend time finding these spots again. Let's see. Yeah. Aha, there's one. Okay, so let's just line that up with that one. No. Nuts. Okay, there it is. Okay, so line it up. Line it up. Anyway, so there are two tiny rectangular ports back here somewhere that you can use to put the gun in place. And once again, it just feels like a bit of over-engineering where you had the correct way to do it with the siege pegs and siege ports. You're still using siege pegs and siege ports, but you decided that this gun shouldn't attach so easily. No. It was too simple for Hasbro. So Hasbro had to make it more complicated. And me as a blind person did not appreciate it. You know, it's one of those things of I would like to not have to spend so much time like a surgeon coming in here and going like, okay, I got to move it precisely this way. There it goes. There we are. Okay, so these little ports are just about impossible to find. All right, there are two of them. Now let's pull it off and talk about the location. Just make sure I got the location right. Okay, so there's a tiny little port right there, and it is just on the other side of the brake. These are the two butt panels, or the rear panels of the vehicle. There's a spot on one of them, and then there's a spot on the other one. The spots are not exactly mirroring each other, but they are very small, and you can feel them. They have a big rough area around them, like that picks up a bit, making them seem like they're tail lights or something like that, but they have little slits inside of them, and that allows the gun to fit. The gun fits in there very well whenever you're not trying to knock it off with an axe. Okay, so there's the axe, there's the gun. We've already talked about those things in previous videos. So let's get to the vehicle mode. First off, it rolls very well. Second off, let's get the handy dandy Lego pad out and talk about its size and scale. Here's handy dandy Lego pad, and boom. This guy is a beast. So he sits there, which is, let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 studs long. By width-wise, he's a wide boy. He is right there. Good grief, man. You are very wide. How wide are you? 11, 12. 12 studs wide. Now, the normal for these Transformers is 8 studs wide. So this guy is a very wide guy. He is much wider than the normal Transformer. And here is an Optimus Prime to do a nice little comparison with. So Prime is still a bit longer than the Ratchet, and Ratchet and Prime are at the same height, except Prime's gun gets a bit more height. But yeah, no, they're at the same height, and your Ratchet's a bit shorter. Prime and Ratchet, though, weigh about the same. Prime has a little more weight in the front. Ratchet's weight is evenly dispersed throughout. He's a well-balanced robot. Let's just see. We can do it. We can balance him to make my point. Well-balanced. Not the most balanced. He's a little back heavy. But for the most part, this guy is pretty good. So let's get over to talking about the feel of this thing, the texture of it. The vehicle mode, I don't even know where to begin to describe it. Think of a really wide cargo van, and then take the sides of that van that are between the two, the wheels on the sides, and just kind of in your head push the side of that van in. So it's, I think the word is concave when it goes in. I think it's concave. I'm not going to Google search it, but yeah. So push it in, and you're going to get like this little valley between the two wheels, and you want to do the same on the other side. And then on the top, where a van is very blocky, you want to just kind of squeeze the top in, and so that the top is about a thumb's width apart, away from where the wheels are. It's going to give it kind of a race car aesthetic with a van aesthetic, or a big moving vehicle aesthetic. It's definitely weird, but yeah, it's like you take, and definitely on the front of this thing, we've got this grill that does remind me of the grills from the big lorries from the Batman the Animated Series. The big trucks, they had this solid grill, and this grill on Ratchet feels very similar to how I remember that grill looking. And the width of this is very similar to how I remember the width of those vehicles being. So it's very similar to those vehicles from the Batman the Animated Series. It's just that they, instead of having it, having a wide, long front nose area for the engine, it just kind of smoothly goes up to the top of the vehicle in kind of a race car fashion. Very smooth texturings going on everywhere here. This is very glossy, very smooth. And when you come across parts that aren't smooth, it feels like they have another purpose. Like behind the wheel well, those parts aren't like smooth and glossy, but I have a feeling that they're painted differently to give a to make this guy so not so monochrome. But the wheel wells are very well done. It's really just this polished plastic feels great, and the fact that they put lines in here to showcase panels that have been put in place, that's really good. The top of the vehicle, very sleek, very sleek. It's just so smooth. It's like glass. And it's got some bumps to it as it like grows up. We've got little windows on either side. We've got this big top point that pops out more. I'm actually surprised we don't get a like a bar for an ambulance, a light bar. But maybe that's what this is up here. Maybe it's some sort of futuristic light bar. I don't know. But he doesn't have a light bar, and I found that to be a little weird. Moving around, going further down to the back, we've got how the back of the vehicle just kind of ends. That's why I compare it to a van, because the rear of this vehicle is very similar to a van, but it's a van where the top of the van is squeezed in, so the top of the van isn't at the same width as the wheels of that van. Very, very odd shape. Very much like a triangle. Very similar. Tetrahedron, that's for sure, because it's got a wide base, and then it's got each side that moves upwards, but then it's got a flat top, or roughly a flat top. So, yeah, very similar to that. It's a neat feeling figure. It is definitely neat. You got some great textures in the wheels. Overall, I like it. I think it is a great vehicle mode. It speaks of Cybertron. It's got that Cybertron feel to it. That sci-fi aspect is definitely going on my Cybertronian shelf, because I don't have a Cybertronian version of Ratchet. I thought the Bumblebee movie concept art one would work, but oh, that one's just gross. I do not like concept art Bumblebee Ratchet or Ironhide. It's that mono boob that screws with me. And this guy doesn't have that so much. He's a pretty well-rounded character. The vehicle mode, I'd give an 8 out of 10, because I do think the lack of siege ports does hurt it when it comes to weapon attachments. And I think they over-engineered the way the weapons attach, especially that axe at the top. It's neat that you can kind of wedge it in there, but it is difficult to kind of wedge it in there. I don't know what else to say on that. I think they could have engineered that a little better. But I love the feel of it. It's got enough textures, and it is texture heavy, and the glossy feel of it's really good. So yeah, 8 out of 10. It's a great figure. The transformation's a lot of fun. The robot mode is a little lacking, but overall, this guy, he scores a solid 8. He scores a solid 8 in the overall rankings, and that's pretty good for a Transformer. He's definitely a good one, in my opinion. I know that I started off not liking Gamerverse because of Optimus Prime and Megatron, and because of Sideswipe and Ratchet, I'm kind of liking Gamerverse again. They both have been excellent figures, and I hope that you've appreciated today's video. I hope that I've been able to help you out when making your decisions on whether or not you like Ratchet, and I hope that I've helped in raising awareness for the blind. Well, gotta go.